This is a formal situation that we find ourselves in. I wanted to make this video because I think a lot of tourists and a lot of foreigners who visit this country don't really do it justice, to be honest. And I think now maybe I hold a little bit of value and respect in what I say. Just a little bit, because I've done over 8,000 kilometers on the motorbike, somewhere around that. I've only really done a slither of India so far. I feel like North should be its own category if we're talking about India and our opinions on India. I feel like North is like a different category, you know, which I will visit. I'm going to visit North when the snow clears in a few months. I will be there. But my experiences so far have been very interesting. It's not something that you can like explain to people until they experience it themselves, you know? And I think because I'm so interested in history, I have quite a different perspective on India than most people or most tourists who come here and they just see it as it is now and they go, it's so polluted, so messy, so noisy. So with the fact that I enjoy history and research it a lot, you know, India is the motherland of all history, really. Like there's really not many countries that have a more impressive history, if that is what you like in terms of wealth, size, power. India is the place for that. Like all these places that we've visited so far, that I've taken you guys with me, you know, like the craziest stuff, like the forts, in Hampi, Vijayanagara, which sounds like a female body part when I say it. Even here, this is Kumbalga, if I pronounce that one right. This is like, this place is crazy. This is part of the Mewar Kingdom. Like absolutely insane stuff. Some of the biggest forts in the world. Like mind-blowing, right? And then you look at some other parts of the country and it's like a small percent of the country is like mind-blowing and wonders of the world. And then the rest of the country, 90% of the country is a pretty bad shithole. Like it makes me wonder, and it's something that I've thought about a lot more after experiencing and going to all these places and knowing the history, like what happened, you know? It's something that I've been pondering on a lot. And I think it's an interesting thought experiment and discussion that we could have. You can share your opinions as well in the comments. Because especially being on a motorbike, that's why I love motorbike travel so much. You feel everything of that country, every single part. It's like a sensory overload. Like you smell every place, you feel every place, you feel the quality of the road, how skilled the workers were, how efficient and how organized they are. You feel it. If the road's crap, if the road's got waves in it, like you get a really cool feel for countries like which you never be able to get any other way. That's why I love motorbike travel. Even the smells, you know, like you go through some areas where kilometers just smells terrible. And you really notice it, you know, it affects you a lot because it's such a overpowering sense. And yeah, after all of this, after this experience, being blown away by the history and the wealth and the magnitude of the places that I visited, it just always leaves this question in my mind, like what happened, you know? Or did something happen? Am I looking at it from a biased point of view? Maybe you can correct me if I am. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrongly. But it seems like everything was so grand and so big and so wealthy, and then a lot of the places now that you go through, you're like, it's almost like they're backwards, you know? Like things have gotten worse. Now, I know the British were here for a long time. They colonized India for a long time. And with any colonizations, they exploit and they plunder and extract whatever they can. That's very common across the world.
Bruh.
But also, it was from what I know, like it was a very small amount of British people who came and like, took over for a while. So like it always gets me thinking like, why is that? Was there always so much nationwide divide and conflict where people never really united? There was always different ideologies and different things. Because it's a land of contrast. India is a land of contrast. That's like the best description that I've been able to come up with. So it's interesting from my point of view to look at it, and even just talking to people who travel as well as like foreigners who I meet along the way, and also just talking to fellow Indians who are here, just to get their perspective on like what happened, or what might have happened. What caused this corruption, government not being very good, a mixture of things. Maybe you have your own idea, because India is absolutely unreal. Like, it's the best place, it's the best country I've ever visited, and it's the worst country I've ever visited. You see what I mean, like, right? Like the crazy contrast, the two complete opposites. That's what it's like, and that's the experience for most people who visit this place. Which is strange. It just always makes me wonder, why? Like, why is it like that? Is it a religious thing? It's hard to really think about what it could be. I know it's a hard topic to talk about as well, but I get asked this question so many times, like, how's your experience? And it's always the same, like, it's the best place I've visited, and it's the worst place I've visited. So I think it deserves more than just that as an answer. It deserves more detail and thought, because it's insane. Like, it's an insane place. It's a place that so many things came from. It's a place that was so far ahead of all the other countries, the Western countries. So it deserves a lot of respect in that regard. And it also deserves some thought on why it is like it is now. What happened? That's my thought process currently, after experiencing what I've experienced. It's a place that has tested my patience like no other place that I've ever been or think I ever will go to. My patience has been tested to the maximum. I've learnt how to tell people to F off, like just bluntly and straight. I've learnt completely how to tell people that. But I've also learnt how to be extremely patient, even more patient than what I was. So it's just like this crazy contrast, And like with the contrast thing, like cows are sacred animals here. Well, India also exports a huge amount of beef. It's a big industry in terms of revenue and, exporting beef. Which is interesting. Like, that's a sacred animal. That also might be misinformation from me. I've read that they export a lot of beef. They're like the third or fourth largest exporter in the world. Some people tell me that it's cow. Some people tell me that it's not. That you can look this stuff up. It's sort of like it's not really clearly defined. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably spreading misinformation. I know it's a lot of buffalo meat and stuff like that, but yeah. And I don't know why that is. Why there is so much contrast and so much divide. Even talking to fellow Indians about north and south, it's like there's such a big internal divide between the country and between the two like identities. And each place you go to, each state, each region is like they have their own sort of. It just seems like it's so segregated. Every place is different, rather than everyone having a similar vision and like a similar, idea of what India should be. It's like, it's obviously the most populated country in the world, right? 1.4 billion people, so that also doesn't help because you have so many different minds. Everyone has their own opinion. Maybe that's half the reason why, just because of how populated this place is. But why is that? Why is it like that? I like to ask these questions and ponder on them for a while. And I would love to get your feedback. That's why, half the reason why I'm making the video, like I said, I want to get your feedback and your opinion. Because it's amazing. The places that I've visited so far have been mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I think I've been to some places that no foreigners have really dived that deeply into. I'm sure there would have been some, of course, but not many, right? The majority don't. They just brush over it. They go from here to there in a car and they just see the pollution, they see the rubbish, and there's no real greater thought. It's just they think of India as like a pretty dirty place now, or a shithole now. That's how they think of it. Like a lot of negative videos of India are very common. They get a lot of traction. Is there something that went wrong? Is that even a question you can answer? I don't know. I hope you can share your opinions and thoughts with me. But for now, this is my first trip coming to an end. I've got 10 hours to go back to Delhi. I have to leave this area. And I have to leave India. I've got stuff to do, I've got some places I need to be, some things I need to handle. But I am coming back for north, like I said. I have to wait until like Ladakh and Kashmir. It's all snowed in now. Everyone keeps telling me, go north, go north. It's like, yeah, brother, it's snowed in. I can't go there now, it's too cold, bro. I'm not a big fan of the cold either. So I want to wait until the snow clears a lot. I want to do north, all north, like Ladakh way. I also want to do northeast way. Go past like Varanasi, and there's a few other megalithic sites and like these granite caves that have been carved out of granite, which granite it's on a similar scale to basalt. It's a little bit harder depending on how the basalt is formed. There's all this beautiful stuff on the way there. Northeast has got some hidden gems like Zuluk and Sikkim. I want to go there, and I will go there, but I need a break. I definitely need a break from India. I need to get out of here. I need to get myself back into top health because I've been very sick. Getting close to 50,000 subs as well. What a wild journey. What a wild journey this has been. I'll film something special for 50,000 subs. So if we get there soon, you'll have a little video that's special. A little bit more personal, like giving you a look into where I came from and like what it took me to get here, and just my past, stuff like that. I'll give you an interesting video on that as a thank you for 50,000 subs. But yeah, for now, time to leave India, and I'll be back soon. So thanks. Peace out.